Welcome to science class. I hope all are doing well. In tomato, which acid is present? In tomato, which acid is present? The answer is oxalic acid. Oxalic acid. In tamarind, which acid is present? Tartaric acid. In tamarind, which acid is present? Tartaric acid. With that, we'll start today's session. What happens to an acid or base in water solution? What happens to an acid or base in water solution? Okay. In the previous class, we have discussed about what do all acids and bases have in common. What do all acids and bases have in common? In that, we have performed activity also. So in this session, we are going to discuss about what happens to an acid or base in water solution. Okay. Do acids produce ions only in aqueous solution? Do acids produce ions only in aqueous solution? So already we have learned that acids produce ions in aqueous solution. Okay. So what ions? H plus ions. But here question is, do acids produce ions only in aqueous solution? Only in aqueous solution or else? This is the question. Okay. So let us test this. We are going to test whether acids produce ions only in the aqueous solution or not. Okay. So activity, take about 1 gram solid NaCl. So we have to take 1 gram solid NaCl in clean dry test tube. In clean and dry test tube. So in the test tube we have to take solid NaCl. NaCl is nothing but sodium chloride. Okay, in that, next what we have to add? We have to add concentrated sulfuric acid. So add some concentrated H2SO4. So H2SO4 is the sulfuric acid. So add some concentrated sulfuric acid to the test tube. So we have to add next concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, first what we have taken in the dry clean test tube? We have taken 1 gram of solid NaCl, sodium chloride. So and next what we have add? We have add concentrated sulfuric acid. So as soon as if you add the sulfuric acid, what happens? It reacts with sodium chloride and it produces sodium sulfate and hydrochloric acid. Okay. So what do you observe? What you can observe now? What do you observe now? Is there a gas coming out of the delivery tube? We have to check the gas is coming out of the delivery tube or not. So what gas is coming out? Hydrochloric gas. Okay. HCl gas is coming out through delivery tube. Test the gas evolved successively with dry and wet litmus paper. So we have to check that HCl gas with the help of litmus paper. 2 litmus paper we have to take. One is dry litmus paper and another one is wet litmus paper. Okay. In which case does the litmus paper change the color? In which case does the litmus paper change the color? So dry litmus paper will not change the color. Wet litmus paper will change the color. Why it is happening so? Because dry, either HCl should be wet, okay, in aqueous solution, or else the paper should be wet. But in the case of HCl, what happened? Dry HCl is coming out of the delivery tube and the paper also will be dry. So it will not dissociate into ions. That HCl not contains H plus ions. So what happens? It will not change the color of the litmus paper. And wet litmus paper will change the color. Okay. And on the basis of the above activity, what do you infer about the acidic character of dry HCl gas and HCl solution? So about this, what do you infer? Infer is nothing but concluding. What you are concluding about the acidic character of HCl gas and HCl solutions? So already I said that what? Either HCl gas should be wet, or else the paper should be wet, litmus paper, or else it will not change the color. Why it is happening so? We will see here. This experiment suggests that hydrogen ions in HCl. Hydrogen ion in HCl. So HCl is nothing but acid, hydrochloric acid. Is it or not? So hydrogen ions in HCl are produced. So when it is produced in the presence of water only, it will produce the ions, or else it will not produce the ions. The separation of H plus ion from from HCl molecules cannot occur in the absence of water. So it will not occur in the absence of water. It will not dissociate H plus ions in the absence of water. In the presence of water, only HCl will dissociate H plus ions. So you can see here HCl when it react with water. So what happens? This from acid it will produce H plus ions. Is it or not? So ions will react with water. So it becomes H3O plus. H3O plus nothing but hydronium ion and Cl minus will liberate. Okay. Hydrogen ions cannot exist alone. So hydrogen ions will not exist alone. It will not exist alone. But they exist after combining with water molecules. So it will exist after combining with water molecules. So that only hydrogen ions cannot exist alone. So what happens? But it exists when it reacts with, when it combined with water molecule. Thus, hydrogen ions must always be shown as. So hydrogen ions must always shows like this: H plus aqueous or hydronium ion. So H plus or hydronium ion. So hydronium ion is nothing but H3O plus. Okay. And so you can see here H plus ions cannot exist alone. So when you can see, so they can exist after combining with water molecule. So H plus ions will combine with water molecule, will get H3O plus. Okay. And we have seen that acids give H3O plus is nothing but hydronium ion or H plus ions in water when in the presence of water only. Okay. And next, let us see what happens when a base is dissolved in water. So we have discussed what happens to acid. So acids produce H plus ions or hydronium ions in the presence of water. Next, base. So we have to take NaOH. NaOH is nothing but sodium hydroxide. And if sodium hydroxide reacts with water, so what happens? Na plus and OH minus. OH is nothing but hydroxide ion. And bases generate hydroxide ions in water. So bases generate hydroxide ions in water. Acids generate hydrogen ions in water. Bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Okay, so we have discussed about, do acids produce ions in only aqueous solution? Yes, it produces ions only in the aqueous solution, either it is acid or base. Dissolving an acid. So whenever we want to dissolve an acid or base in water, we must have to take care very much. Okay, so dissolving an acid or base in water is highly exothermic reaction. What reaction? Exothermic reaction. So during exothermic reaction, what happens? It generates a lot of heat. So heat is generating in that reaction. So care must be taken while doing it. So whenever we are dissolving acid or base in water, we must be taking care. The acid, so always listen carefully, always the acid must added slowly. Always the acids added slowly with constant stirring in the water. We should not add water in the acids because it causes the mixture to splash out or it causes burning. Okay, so remember we should not add water to acids. So acids only we have to add slowly with constant stirring. Okay children, I hope all understood. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you children.